Hey, Magic fans, we're back again. And today we're going to talk about some of the best cards from Wilds of Eldraine for Commander because who doesn't love a good group hug? Oh, bring it in, guys. Anyway, so before we get started, don't forget comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Helps keep the channel sponsor free. Hell, go check me out on Twitch. I put some live streams over there every now and then when I'm feeling froggy. Put me down on the channel when it's a good time to stream, and who knows, maybe I'll set up a stream, make sure you can make it. Anyway, with all that said, we're trying to get to 1,000 peeps, so sub up, tell your friends, your families, your loved ones, if you have any, or at least friends, or maybe you have friends. Like, get out of the basement, go see light. Anyway, see the sun, it's there, it's cool, I swear. It's not cool, it's actually really hot. God, it's summertime. So here we go. The top 5 cards for Commander. Let's get into it with an honorable mention as we start with Collector's Vault. This I struggled really hard to get into the list, especially as an uncommon, but it just wasn't good enough. And maybe I could have switched this with number 5, but the thing I like the best about this card is for 2 mana, you get it early. It lets you, for 2 mana, draw a card and then discard. Nothing is better than filtering. Yes, it costs 2 mana. However, you also get a treasure token. It's also mana fixing. And all you need is 2 lands to get this show on the road. And also the ability with this and the bag of holding from D&D that you can play on turn 1, where if you discard a card, it goes in the bag of holding. You can get it back later. You start pumping out treasures, draw on cards so you can make your land drops. I think there's a lot of potential here. I like the card a lot. It just almost doesn't do enough. Creating the treasure token is probably the best thing this card could have done instead of being a mana rock. That way you didn't have to pick. And I do think it's great that when you do this and you get to create that treasure token, it stays around. So you don't have to spend it if you don't want to. So you're kind of getting a cash, we'll call it cash back, kind of like a credit card, right? You put 2 in, you get 1 back. So on turn 3, you could cast you could activate this, draw, discard, layer land, and still make a 2-drop on 3. And then on 4, you can do this, so it kind of sets you back a turn if you want to draw every turn. Now, on turns you don't want to draw, you just get extra mana. There's so much potential here, and I really think I'm gonna put this in a couple of my decks, especially decks I want to mill through my deck, or in decks that may need mana fixing plus draw power all in one. It's an artifact that goes into anything. So, lots of hype around this card, and I think it's really good. Will it see all the play that I think it will? Probably not, but come on, guys. How cool is this? Come on. Now, with that said, at number 5, we have Virtue of Courage. So, 2 red and 3, enchantment. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, you may exile that many cards top your library and play those cards this turn. Now, you still have to pay the mana for them. So, not broken. But it also has the ability to deal 2 damage to any target as the adventure. So, if you don't have up to 5 mana, you can zap something for 2, get it out of your hand, so you got to discard it. Early creature removal. Plus, if you're playing red, you have plenty of ways to blow somebody up in the face. And if that means you get to run through your deck and get all kinds of stuff out of it to keep going, then, more power to you. This works well with All Will Be One. It's already got a combo piece, so it doesn't need this, but this would be a good include, because if it doesn't go off, if you still shoot somebody for 2, All for One will then trigger. Or if one thing comes into play that has counters, you can shoot someone with All Will Be One and then draw off the top of your deck with this card, maybe then find the combo. Like, there's tons of things that you could do to really manipulate and break this card in Commander, and I'm excited to see people try. So, moving on, next we have number 4, that's right, Moonshaker Cavalry. I had to put it in here. I really didn't want to, but the white Crater Hoof has spoken, and it is good. It's the same cost as Crater Hoof, 3 white and 5, except this one's white, obviously not green. It's 1 bigger, it does fly. However, it does not have haste, and it gives flying, not trample. So here's the problem with this one card. Uh, Green is known for mana ramp and the ability to throw big nappies on the table quickly. White, not so much. Now, plenty of go wide strategies where this could actually kill somebody. I'm not saying it won't. Flying is better than trample. However, not once has anybody ever said, damn it, if my shit didn't have trample when I cast this Crater Hoof, I could have killed that guy. No. The normal response is I cast Crater Hoof and the opponent scoops. Trample or not. Flying will make it easier with probably less creatures, but also remember, because this doesn't have haste, this isn't coming across. With Crater Hoof, the Crater Hoof gets the pluses as well, and it has haste. When this comes into play, it gets the pluses, but it doesn't have haste. Yes, you can give it haste. Everybody says that, and I get that. But then that means that's another creature on the field that won't attack, so this one can. Which will probably be better if you give this haste so it can attack instead of something else. But what do you do if you can't get that creature, or when you say, I cast this, they go in response, kill your creature that gives your shit haste. I'm going to have to see it in action for me to care. And for me to think it's as good as Crater Hoof and deserves that kind of spot. So, next in at number 3, we have Agatha's Soul Cauldron. I said it once, I'll say it again. This thing is probably one of the hot cards of the set, and I think will blaze a path for the entire set for most wanted card to be opened. It's expensive, it's a great card, 2 colorless, does lots of things. Okay, for one, you may spend mana of any color as though you may spend mana of any color to activate abilities of creatures you control. A lot of creatures have multiple color casting abilities in their flavor text. For example, there's the artifact. I forget what it's called now because I had to try to tell you about it. But it's 1 of every mana, and you get to flip the top 3 cards of your library and cast them for free. Sometimes the hard part is getting the colored mana and your opponent not messing with your colored mana. If this is on the table, it doesn't matter if you're playing mono. Like, you literally, with 5 white, could activate his ability. Same goes for any other card that does that. There's so many cards that have restrictive mana costs on them that this will fix just because it's on the field and just sitting there. Next, creatures you control +1/+1 counters on them have all activated abilities of creatures exiled with the Cauldron. The Cauldron taps to exile cards from graveyards and put +1/+1 counters on creatures you control. This is a way to stop graveyard manipulation, recursion, and have extra abilities. There's so much going on here. This card is so good. I just don't know how it isn't higher. But I made the list, so I know why it's not higher. But I'm going to tell you right now, it was really close with these last 3. The power level of this card for Commander is really high. Next, we have number 2. We have Virtue of Knowledge. You may say, this could have been 3, Captain. And yeah, you're probably right. But anytime I see a card that I look at and I go, oh, look, it's a doubling season, it's kind of hard to put it low on the list. Especially below 1, let alone 2. Same cost as doubling season. You know, it does the same thing that Yorick the Desecrated does when it sits on the battlefield. Plus, it has the instant ability, so you can use it early in case you have some kind of weird shenanigans going on, like an Icron Scepter. God knows what else may be going on with this thing that you could really manipulate. So, there's just so much. You could reactivate your Cauldron twice, like, you could re-trigger the artifact that lets you reveal a top 3. Joda, like, you could copy his cast trigger and cascade twice. Oh, it's just so disgusting. So many things that can be done with this that not only happens when things enter the battlefield. The ability to use it outside of battlefield triggers is something that's really going to be amazing and make this card really shine on the top spot. And it is a good pair up with Doubling Season and Yorko the Desecrated. Man, oh man. All right, so you may be thinking to yourself, well, Captain, you talked a lot of smack. What do you think the best card for Commander out of the set is? That's right. It's time to turtle up, boys. So, Blossoming Tortoise. This thing is a house. Yes, it's very killable. That's perfectly fine. But for 2 green and 2, this 3/3, It enters the battlefield or attacks, mill 3 cards, then return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tap. It doesn't say out of the 3 that you milled. It's just from your graveyard. If you fetched, you can get a fetch land, put it into play, fetch again. If you have a land that you sacrifice for an ability, get it back out of the graveyard, put it back into play, use it again, strip mine. Not that I'm trying to be that guy, but just saying. And activated abilities of lands you control cost 1 less to activate. Some lands you put in graveyards have activated abilities. Now they cost less. Hello. Plus, if you're playing a land matters deck and you have land creatures, they all get +1/+1. This goes great with that 5 mana green spell that says all your creatures are also lands, and he gets +1/+1 for every land. With this in play and that in play, all your creatures are lands. They all get +1/+1. Now they all tap for mana. All their abilities cost 1. It's this giant cascading crapshoot of green just pooping everywhere and wrecking your life. Strip mine over and over every game. Because if you attack, get strip mine out and strip your opponent, like, I'm not saying you should be that guy, but if you haven't been that guy, you should try being that guy one time. It could be really fun or mentally scarring for everybody involved. But that's not the point. So, with all that said, guys, thanks a lot for watching. This is my number 1 pick for Commander. Tell me what you think that I might have missed somebody, if I'd have missed a card down in the comment section below. And with all that said, until next time, be kind. Unless you're going to strip mine your opponent's stuff. And I hope to see you across from the game table. And you better not be strip mine turtling my shit. Just saying.